A conservative who wrote for the Heritage Foundation is now having to admit that it's actually the Democrats that are the party of families. In a recent op-ed for Newsweek, conservative activist Bethany Mandel, yes, that Bethany Mandel, the woman who went viral for not being able to define woke.
The wokers.
Okay, couldn't do it, while railing against it, by the way. Well, she recently had a come-to-Jesus moment, and that's pretty good. She has admitted that the Democratic Party has actually been a much better ally of working-class Americans who are currently raising children. Now, she is a mother of 6, and so she would understand the difficulties of raising children, especially that many children, and the need for pro-family policy. So one of the examples of that policy she uses is the child tax credit, which is incredibly popular. Just last week, she writes, Senate Republicans blocked an effort to expand child tax credits, especially those targeted at low-income Americans. J.D. Vance, a United States senator who could have voted for child tax credits now, skipped the vote, as did a half dozen other Republican senators. This is true. She says, I'm not one to give credit to the Democratic Party on anything, but credit where credit is due, and it's going to hurt the Republican ticket, especially when it tries to paint itself as pro-family. So, praise for Democrats and criticism for Republicans, coming from a conservative activist. Wow, these are strange days, but I'll take it. And it's true. She's referring to a bipartisan bill that would have expanded the child tax credit, which is $2,000 per child, by making it more refundable. Now, Senate Republicans ended up killing that piece of legislation, led by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I almost called him Litch McConnell. Who dismissed it as, this child tax credit is nothing more than welfare. Okay. Now, during COVID, the Biden administration, to contrast that, temporarily increased the tax credit to $3,000 per child and $3,600 for every child under age 6, and included 17-year-olds in the covered group. When Democrats tried to prolong the expansion in 2022, Senator Joe Manchin, who was a Democrat, is now an independent, joined in with Republicans, all the Republicans, to block that expansion. Now, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities estimated the expansion of the child tax credit had kept 500,000 children out of poverty, to which Republicans were like, no, we're going to send you right back into poverty. There you go. And you're going to like it, kids. By the way, recently, you saw, you had the governor of Arkansas basically signing Sarah Huckabee Sanders signing not a child welfare bill, right, but a child labor bill, as in children get to the mines. Okay, you're going to go to work. No handouts for children. So that's in contrast to Governor Tim Walz, who is now on the Democratic ticket for vice president, expanding meals not just for poor children, but universal free lunches. So, and the universal is very important because it covers everybody and it reduces the amount of administrative paperwork, and it's just a better policy. Okay, so now, speaking of policy, Mandel touched on another one, and she said, as I'd rather not admit it, the Democrats have a much stronger record when it comes to American families. For example, the Biden administration earlier this month introduced a new rule targeted at airlines that try to charge families for the privilege of sitting next to one another. So, look, that's one of the Biden administration's targets on things like junk fees and, stuff that's basically ridiculous, right? Just extra fees for things that should not be, we shouldn't be nickeled and dimed for these things. Now, here's what she said. Families with young children basically have to pay a tax if they want to guarantee they will be seated next to their kids. As a mother of 6 children, age 1 through 10, I need to sit next to my kids. It's not so much that I want to, but if we hit turbulence or need to move quickly to open an air sickness bag, it's probably preferable for all involved that I'm sitting next to my kids. Hey, that makes sense. It makes sense. Why charge people extra for that? Now, of course, that's part of the airline industry's effort at trying to squeeze as much possible out of the travelers, and by making them as miserable as possible unless they pay up. Now, she also ends with this. The Biden administration decided to step up for families in the air, and Democratic legislators did the same with their work trying to advance the child tax credit. I'm not one to give credit to the Democratic Party on anything, but credit where credit is due. Public policy should be advanced that makes it easier to raise a family. American parents want to know that we have a defender in the White House who will advance those policy goals. Right now, all the recent attempts at pro-family policy can be claimed by the Biden administration and Democrats in Congress. Boom. So now, here's the thing. She cites 2 examples, but there's so many more, okay? For example, do you remember when there was a baby formula shortage during COVID? Republicans ended up blocking a bill that was aimed at trying to ease that, to make sure that children had baby formula. And not only that, but Build Back Better had a bunch of pro-family policies in it called the American Families Plan, which was blocked by Republicans. That would have allocated $200 billion in spending on child care, ensuring that no family has to pay more than 7% of their income on child care, which currently is prohibitively expensive, $200 billion to make universal pre-K, $200 billion towards government-subsidized paid family and medical leave, and of course, the expansion of that aforementioned child tax credit. Republicans, like I said, blocked it. Okay. Why? So they could help rich people. And that's the thing. The bill would have been funded by increasing taxes on the very wealthy, like the capital gains tax, and restoring the top marginal tax rate of 39%, which again, since it's the top marginal tax rate, it would only apply to the richest Americans. They would have to pay that. So, look, the whole point is, she gets it. The Republicans constantly talk about being pro-family, but when it comes to their policies, they don't help average working class families. The only families they help are the wealthy. And that's because the wealthy fund them through campaign contributions. That's it. That's it. And if somebody like Bethany Mandel, who can't define woke, right, but sees all of this happening and sees like, oh, it turns out the Democrats are actually more pro-family than the supposed pro-family Republicans? What's going on here? Wait, when you actually look at the policies and go beyond the rhetoric, Democrats are actually trying to pass good things and Republicans aren't. What's going on here? Well, that's because Republicans are playing a shell game, okay? They play this shell game. They claim to be, we're pro-family, we're pro-freedom, but in reality, they're actually doing the opposite, okay? They're not pro-family, they're not pro-freedom, they're pro-helping rich people, okay? And not only that, but their policies encourage poverty, destitution, and even in some cases, death. Just look at the result of the abortion bans, okay? The abortion bans without even, any sort of exemptions for rape and incest and things like that. This is stuff that J.D. Vance had previously went to bat for and said, well, I know that pregnancy is inconvenient from a rape, but what are you going to do? Oh, well, you're not going to punish the child for that, right? Okay, but when the child comes out, there's no help for them whatsoever from the government. Oh, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But you don't have any boots. And that's because Republicans took them and gave them to the rich. So that's it. Look, here's the thing. If you're a pro-life person and you want less abortion, okay, how about make it easier for birth control to be universally available for those who do not want children? And for those who do, well, you've got to pass good economic policy to encourage those who want children but cannot afford to have them to be able to have them. At the end of the day, it comes down to good economic policy that helps working class folks achieve the American dream. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.